Fucking pussy.
Hello and welcome to my After Effects tutorial on the video that I made. So, what we're going to begin with is we're going to create a new composition. This composition is going to be for a green screen footage that we recorded for this project. So you take the green screen footage that you shot and then you give it a background plate. You need to go into the green screen footage and you need to make a mask by using the mask tool or the pen tool. I just used the shape tool to make a square because that's all I need to get rid of. Then you need to get rid of the green. So you need to go into your effects presets and go to key light, go put the key light onto the green screen, then you choose the eyedropper and then you get rid of the green color. You want to go into the combined matte to give yourself a good view of everything. Adjust as needed, and once you're done you should end up with a nice looking key, and I should be completely white and the background should be completely black, and that's how you know whether you've done it right. Then you go to the final result to see what it actually looks like. Adjust position scale accordingly, and your character shall walk through the screen. As I'm adjusting everything, I changed the background because it wouldn't make sense to have my gun pulled out when a guy was walking around next to me. I adjusted the size of my character to fit the world around me, so I'm not, teeny tiny when I reach the end of the sidewalk. So you just adjust that by using keyframes throughout the entire clip. Then we need to make a shadow because it's broad daylight and there's shadows. So you duplicate the layer, you make it a little opaque, you add a Gaussian blur to it, and you skew it and then adjust as you walk. These are all little minor adjustments that you'll have to do by yourself to make it look right. I did this very quickly so it doesn't look very good in my video. It was just to add a little bit to the scene and make the effect stick, because it wouldn't make sense to be walking around without a shadow, unless, of course, you're in a green screen room. The next thing that you need to do is you need to adjust the color. I used a plugin called Colorista 2. I adjusted the background accordingly to make it look a little warmer, and then you need to do so to your own character. It's important to make sure that your character looks like he's in the scene. The next shot that we do is the security office. We need to track this. So we need to go into animation, go to track in Mocha AE, and it'll put the clip into this scene. Then you need to choose the X spline tool, corner pin it to a plane, any plane. We were trying to track the monitors because we knew we were going to change those. So we pin it to the corners of the monitor, so they're nice and square, and they're also in the background, and make it look nice. And then you go to the middle of the clip and then you track forward. As it tracks, it may slip if the camera moves. In this scene, in this shot, my character passes in front of the plane and causes it to slip badly. His hand passes in front, and now his face passes in front, and then it slips. To avoid this, I just used a smaller track of the clip. So I went back to the middle, I tracked backwards, and then I stopped the track right before he passed in front and caused it to slip. You may need to adjust these tracking points as it tracks as the camera moves. But once you've done this, you should end up with an effective track. Rule of thumb to keep in mind is if anything, any object or person passes in front of the thing that you're tracking, it will cause it to slip. Once you're done tracking, you go in and you export the data. Make sure it's anchor point position and copy to clipboard. And then you go back into your After Effects program, you create a null object, and then you go to the beginning of the clip and you paste copied tracking data onto the null object. This should create an effective track. The next thing you need to do is you need to put the video clip that you're going to put onto the computer. It could be a movie or it could be a short clip from YouTube. I decided to do a short clip from YouTube. You want to corner pin it onto the monitor, and then you parent it to the null object that you have the tracking data to. Once you've parented it to the null object, you want to corner pin it and get it to look nice on the monitor. And then, because the tracking data doesn't exactly keep it pinned to the monitor, you need to go through and you need to adjust the position of it throughout the entire clip. Once it sticks to the monitor, you can move on to the next thing. A good idea when putting things on a screen is you may want to change the mode to screen to give it a little bit of background detail of the monitor itself. The issue now is that my character passes in front of the monitor. It doesn't make sense for the screen to shine above his hands. So what we need to do is we need to go back, we need to duplicate the layer of him, put it above all of the other layers, and now we need to mask out his hand as it passes in front of the monitor, and then we need to mask out his face and his other hand as it passes in front of the monitor as well. What this effect will do is it will keep his head in front of it without the video clip above the actual monitor of the lower layer. Just make it nice, adjust your settings on your mask, like the feather as well as its path, to give it a nice effect. I did this very quickly so you can see a slight halo around him, but the effect passes, and for what we're trying to accomplish, it looks alright. The next thing you need to do is you need to erase these tracking points because the screen will cause it to shine through. But because the paintbrush tool, you'll need to do more work and change the position and scale and everything. I decided, because there wasn't a lot of detail on these monitors, and because they were all black, I would just use a black solid, parent it to the null object, and track it to the computer monitors. This produces a nice effect, as you can see. It takes the shape of the monitor and it gets rid of all of the tracking points effectively. The last thing that we need to do is we need to make the security monitors. So you take all of the footage that you shot of you walking around and you put them in a nice looking monitor, what you would think you would see in a security office. Then you need to adjust the hue and saturation of it, change the color to make it look like a monitor. So what you want to do is you want to put hue and saturation on it, change the color to a bluish green, desaturate it a little bit to make it look a little bit gray. Hue and saturation, copy and paste it on all the other layers. Then you need to adjust the timing of all the other shots. What you do is you need to enable time remapping by right-clicking on it, time, and enable time remapping. This way it maintains a constant flow of continuity. Once you've finished making it properly timed and making it look like an actual security monitor, what you want to do is you want to take it, parent it to the null object, corner pin it, and then adjust accordingly the position, scale, rotation, etc. Once it looks like it's on the monitor for good, you're done. Thank you very much.